But I tell you, when we talk about WrestleMania, somebody that's looking to get to WrestleMania is Bayley.
Yep.
She had her match with AJ Lee tonight. She had her conversation with Lyra Valkyria and the Kabuki Warriors, and she's got time now to join us here on WWE Now Raw Recap. Welcome to WWE Now, Bayley. Bayley, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right, Sam. How are you?
I mean, I'm great. I haven't had the evening that you've had. I would imagine it's a little bit complicated. On one end, it's all about going to WrestleMania. On the other end, you also shared the ring with AJ Lee, which had to be a fairly emotional experience.
Yeah, I think leading up to it, it really was. I mean, who would have ever thought that we would have come this far? You know, like I was just talking earlier how like her last match on Raw, she was wearing my hugger shirt, and I remember like had fallen asleep on the couch after a big day at training at the PC, and woke up to that of her sitting on the ropes, you know, wearing my shirt, and that was her last match on Raw, and then to come, you know, literally like full circle. I don't think I ever thought we'd be standing in the ring together again. So all of that aside, when it really came down to it was, you know, trying to get to WrestleMania, and maybe that's not my path, or maybe that wasn't my path, you know, but according to my tag partner, you know, we got to find a new one. And I'm okay with that because my tag partner is a little determined. You know, I think I got a little in her head. I think she's understood how my brain operates. I think she knows how strong this heart is, and it doesn't stop until we get what we deserve. And that's WrestleMania. You know, Kyrie and Asuka are going to find out soon.
I do. You're a strong-willed human being. I mean, listen, you've been here for a long time. You've been in the WWE for a long time. You've been a part of ups and downs. You've been a part of title matches at WrestleMania, and then other instances where you're fighting like you are now to find the path to get to WrestleMania. You brought up AJ and wearing your shirt on her last match on Monday Night Raw. You were in an extremely different place than you are now, where somebody like AJ Lee wearing your T-shirt on television was a big deal. I mean, AJ clearly did that on purpose to support you, knowing that she could do that. Do you kind of take pause at all, kind of realizing how much you've done and where you're at now, and like the fact that maybe, you know, in the moment trying to figure out what you're doing this year for WrestleMania is one thing, but overall, I mean, you've kind of achieved a pretty incredible like ascension in the ranks of this women's division, especially historically.
But it's Sam, thing is what makes the greats great is that we don't stop, you know, like there's always something more to chase. And that's what I mean, where I really wanted to win that championship match. I've never held the Intercontinental Championship. It wasn't only about getting to WrestleMania. I'm a Grand Slam Women's Champion, but I've never had that title. I've never had the United States Championship. And now I have a new friend and a partner in Lyra Valkyria, who like last year I let her down because I was jumped and didn't get to make it to WrestleMania. Although she went on without me, she had to pay for it too. You know, if I was with her in that ring and we won the tag titles together, she would have never had to go through that crap that she did with Becky Lynch. So the way that I feel about this business and the way that I feel about the division, there's no stopping. You know, it doesn't get easier. It doesn't make me want less because I've achieved all these things. If anything, it makes me want more because I've had a taste of what it's like. And now being in a partnership with Lyra, she's doing all these things for the first time, and I feed off that. And that's what keeps me going. I want to do these things with her. I want to become a tag team champion with her. You know, like you can't be up here forever, and I understand that. But when you get knocked down, like I always say, a true testament to who you are and to your character is what you do when your back is against the wall. You know, someone like Becky Lynch, who just did what she did to my friend AJ Lee out there. She's up here, but she's never been where I've been. You know, she's never been kicked off of WrestleMania. Maybe I should do that to her this year, huh? Or maybe I'll just follow what Lyra said. But if someone is down here, you have to, that's really a test of who you are. And I'll be damned if I let someone tell me like, that's where you belong, because I'm going to prove them wrong every time. And Lyra is going to help me do that.
I think the strength in the division is really illustrated when you look at the women's tag division, because you talk about Asuka, you talk about Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, you talk about yourself in the tag division with Lyra Valkyria, the Bella Twins returning on SmackDown. And just like you said, Bayley, it's when you're at the top, you have to find ways to stay there, and you have to find ways to reinvent and find ways to make it to WrestleMania or become a tag team champion. But now that you're standing next to Lyra, and there's all of those names that I just threw out at you, do you feel a little bit rejuvenated knowing that you're entering maybe a situation with someone who hasn't been there before?
As in with Lyra?
Yes.
You know, it's weird because it seems like being in a tag team with someone, it should be somebody that you've known a long time and that you've earned and you've gained this trust with each other. But we were thrown into this tag team last year. I had no idea who she was, but it's what I'm just saying is like, okay, what are you going to do? Whatever they give you, I'm going to make it the best. We're going to be in this tag team, then we're going to make it the best. And we won that gauntlet match last year to get us that opportunity at WrestleMania. We went through 5 tag teams together for a tag team that had the least experience together. And we won that match. We earned that WrestleMania title shot. And then it was taken away from us, And since that match, and I got taken out from WrestleMania, and she still went on and she showed me that I can do this and I'm going to do it for you. And it didn't work out. Since that night, we've been pushing and we've been pushing and we've been pushing. And Adam Pearce has been ignoring and ignoring and ignoring. Nia and Lash got tag team championship matches before us against Rio. We've never even got to step in the ring with them. So Adam Pearce, this is towards you. Then you got the Bella Twins in a championship match before us. Are you kidding me? I don't know what we're doing. I know I had all this other stuff going on with Raw, but me and Lyra have been in a tag team since last WrestleMania. So you know what? What are we going to do? We're going to kick the door down, Jackie. That's from Chris Tucker of Rush Hour.
That's right. That's what you have to do. But you also know, and you're right, it goes back to your point when you responded to the last question that I asked you, that regardless of what you've done, regardless of what your history has been, you know that you have to do that. And I feel like everything that you've done and everything that you've accomplished, that's kind of always been the story. It's forcing the hand.
Yep. But I'm still here. If all of those things, if things that kept happening, and that's wrestling, that's WWE. If all of these things kept trying, if they stopped me, or stopped Lyra, if she gave up after her hero, turned her back on her, I wouldn't be here right now because she helped me get through this whole year. I wouldn't have been here without her. And if all those times where I tripped over something, or all those times that I got told like, nope, sorry, not today, not today, not today, I wouldn't have been in the ring with AJ Lee on Raw 11 years later when she returned to WWE as the Women's Intercontinental Champion. None of those things would have happened. So if we were to stop right now and be like, well, our road to WrestleMania is done, then what would that, maybe in 5 years, we're going to be the tag team champion. Maybe we're going to win the tag team championships, and maybe we're going to be the tag team champions for 5 years. What if there's a tag team that's watching us right now and they're like, oh my God, that could be us. And we've been champions for 5 years, and they come in and they get a title shot and they win. Big moment for them. But what if we would have given up today? Then they would have never had that opportunity. This business is magic. I don't care what anybody says. I'm built on magic, and I fight for the magic, and I won't stop fighting for the magic until we get what we deserve. And Adam Pearce, you're going to pay for it. You know what? When we have these matches and we get what we want, you're going to be right there to raise our hands and give us a big old hug.
I could not agree with you more about the magic, and maybe Adam Pearce does need to get reminded of that. And I feel like that, I think this is why people love you, Bayley, is because you've always, as cheesy as it sounds, believed in this magic of professional wrestling. It's how we got to know you from the very beginning. I think it's how you've carried yourself throughout your journey in the WWE and beyond. And I say beyond because on Saturday, my phone starts going off, going like, are you watching AAA? Bayley just showed up on AAA. Bayley's on AAA right now. For you, who believes in that magic of professional wrestling, to step into AAA and to experience that, to answer that challenge, what was that like for you?
That was the best. I love wrestling in Mexico, but I love that's the thing is like you can't ever be content or comfortable, or like I just want to do more and I want to meet more people. I want to perform in front of more people. And the fact that I got asked to do that was an honor. For one thing, it's one of their biggest shows of the year, and against one of their, the women's champion who just like broke a record and became the longest reigning women's champion. To me, that's a huge honor, and is a little tip of the cap to me. But to be able to, it's hard in this business to actually keep it a secret. So I was very excited to be able to hide from everybody and really show up where literally nobody knew I was there. And I was personally very overwhelmed by the response. And it just made everything so worth it. I could be upset about the loss and those little cheaters who I'm not going to let them get away with. I have their numbers. But that is what was the most important to me, that no matter what, everywhere in the world, people recognize how much and what I feel about this. And that I don't care if I do it here. I don't care if I do it there. I don't care if I do it in TNA. I care about this, and I will always give my whole heart to them. They will always get the real me.
Are you surprised at all? Like, there's one type of wrestling fan that watches every different type of wrestling there is and watches wrestling from all over the world. And, if this were, 25 years ago, it would be trading VHS tapes with people that they meet online and everything. But there's another type of wrestling fan that really only watches WWE. And this is the world that they're exposed to. And for me as a fan of all of it, I think it's been amazing watching so many WWE fans not only get exposed to AAA, but embrace it and be like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
Like, sorry to cut you off, but it's one of those things where I love Lucha Libre. I've always been a fan of AAA. One of my trainers from back home, his name's Jason Styles, is a huge fan, like would constantly reference AAA as we were training. He was a very, very into Lucha. And so when he found out that I was on it, he really freaked out. So for like my old trainer to freak out about me being able to wrestle for this company, and to see how it's mixed into, now that WWE is a part of it as well, to watch them keep this true spirit of Lucha Libre and what that company means to Mexico, but also bring in the WWE audience and the superstars and the people backstage and give that little spin on it. I couldn't talk about it enough. I was in the back, like, this is just the perfect combination of what I love, the stories, the characters, the physicality, the crowd. The real thing was like the audience getting so excited for every little thing and not overthinking what wrestling should be. They were in the experience with us and with them. It was beautiful and so refreshing, and I just want to go back, like now, like every time. Chelsea Green texts me afterwards. She's like, "Isn't your cup so full? AAA is the best." Like it's infectious, and I'm so honored that I got to be a part of it.
That's awesome. Speaking of your cup being full, tonight there was a moment in your match with AJ Lee where you were on the outside of the ring, and you crawled up that commentary table and you looked up. And Michael Cole was talking about what you're fighting for in WrestleMania and everything. With this history that you have with Michael Cole, I couldn't tell if this was another bit of that tension or if maybe just for a moment you were motivated by Michael Cole.
You know what? Speaking of cup being full, I wish he had a full cup of coffee in his hand that I can spill in his face. But like, obviously I know what's going on, Michael Cole. The WrestleMania sign is right in front of me. AJ Lee is right behind me, and the tag and the title is right to the side of me. I know what's going on. That's why we're here right now. It's WrestleMania season. You don't have to say it to my face. I know you're doing your job, but maybe you could wait till I turn back around to like say that. But maybe I didn't need that, Michael Cole. He really did push me in the pandemic era. He really did push me to the edge and kind of made me irritated. And maybe that's why I was a double champ. Who knows? Maybe he's the secret weapon. Maybe that's something I can use. Wow. But we're not going to let him know, okay? There could be no he cannot, be any more cocky. All right? Let's just leave that between us.
That's smart.
I'm just surprised you didn't call him an idiot.
He isn't it? Well, I don't need to call him. He is. Like, it just says it on his head, right?
Yeah.
That's just his name.
Well, I'm glad you're fighting to make sure that ego doesn't get any bigger, but I'm also glad that you're fighting to make sure that you get on WrestleMania. And we hope.
You know what?
Yeah.
Michael Cole also thinks he talks a big game when it comes to WrestleMania because he's undefeated.
Oh, God.
So you know what, Michael Cole, if you want to go to WrestleMania, this has been built for 6 years now. He keeps trying to say, let's go to WrestleMania. I'm undefeated. Well, I don't have a match.
Whoa.
So, there it is.
Put the
Maybe
streak.
I found my
Let's
ticket.
go.
Put the streak on the line, Michael Cole. Put the streak on the line. Let's get to 1 and 1.
Coward.
Coward. Bailey, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
being so
Bailey.
generous with your time. You're the best.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Let's go to WrestleMania.